In this video, we'll walk through a demo of NovaPact. NovaPact is a UI layer built on top of Salesforce Revenue Cloud, purely the experience layer made possible by Revenue Cloud's headless API architecture. All quoting, pricing, approvals, and security controls continue to run inside Salesforce. NovaPact doesn't replace any of it. It just renders it through a faster, simpler interface. Reps start where they already are, inside Salesforce. The Launch Deal Room button on the opportunity opens NovaPact's deal room with full context. You'll see the account name and opportunity name right at the top. The panel below ties back to Salesforce. Your next move and blocked on others come from the opportunity's open work and pending approvals. Deal Pulse pulls the deal value, close date, and engagement signals. The rep has a Build Quote button and Deal Action Board that shows where the deal stands. On the right, the deal team is loaded from the Opportunities team members. Buyer contacts come from the Opportunity contact roles. There's a Notify Buyer link that activates once the first quote exists, a buyer messaging thread, engagement analytics, and the full deal timeline. On the left, a shared action plan. The rep can add tasks for the seller side and the buyer side, and either party can mark their tasks complete from their own deal room. Both sides see what's done, what's next, and what's slipping. Now let's build a quote. The rep clicks Build Quote. The product catalog on the left is the live Salesforce price book. Bundles, hardware, software, services, add-ons, exactly as the admin configured them in Revenue Cloud. We've added an AI assistant. The rep types what the customer asked for and clicks Suggest. The AI is catalog scoped. It can only return products that exist in your price book. The rep can add all the suggestions in one click, pick selectively, or add anything else from the left panel. At the top, the rep selects the subscription term and start date. The end date calculates automatically. At the line level, they can adjust quantity, dates, or apply a discount. The amount column updates instantly. That's a quote in under a minute. Clean UI, fewer clicks, no jumping between screens. Time saved on every deal. Now click Save to Salesforce. NovaPact calls Revenue Cloud's Place Sales Transaction API to insert the quote and line items, and triggers the Revenue Cloud pricing engine to calculate the price waterfall. Let's switch to Salesforce. Here's the same quote, every product on the line items, the right quantity, the right discount. The pricing waterfall is populated correctly. From the deal room, the rep can also mark this quote as primary, which syncs the value back to the opportunity. Reps can edit quote lines directly from the deal room. Quantity, discount, dates, all editable in place. No extra clicks, no switching screens. Let's update the quantity here. Now switch back to Salesforce. The line updates instantly. Same pricing engine, same API. Most deals come down to options, so the rep can spin up a second quote in seconds. Let's build Quote 2. Same scope as Quote 1, but a 24-month term to lock in pricing, plus a training add-on the customer asked about. Click Save. And Quote 2 is created and synced in Salesforce. What used to take multiple clicks across product pick lists now takes under a minute per quote. Now the rep decides what the buyer sees. Each quote has a Visible to Buyer toggle. Show both options for comparison or hide one and present only the recommended quote. Click Buyer View, and the rep sees exactly what the buyer will see. Side-by-side layout for comparison. Pricing. Products included in each quote. Below each quote, NovaPact's AI auto-drafts a buyer-facing summary with a few short pros and trade-offs. So, the buyer understands why this option fits. The rep can edit any bullet in line before sending or accept the draft as is. Now to approvals. The rep clicks Submit for approval, and NovaPact fires the Salesforce Approvals REST API, triggering the exact approval process configured for Revenue Cloud. At the top, the rep sees what's blocking the deal and what the next step is. Approvers have the option to approve directly from the deal room, but they can also approve natively in Salesforce. Different roles need different information at the same approval step. The rep needs to see what's blocking the deal and how to unblock it. The manager needs to see margin, deal context, and the AE's note explaining why the discount makes sense. Let's look at the same deal from the manager's view. The sales manager sees the AE who owns the deal economics, TCV, margin, term, the quote details. As the assigned approver, they can approve right here in NovaPact or open the record in Salesforce if they prefer. They click Approve. NovaPact hits the same Salesforce Approvals API. In Salesforce, the quote status flips to Approved, and the approval history is written via the standard API. Reps don't sell alone. Finance, managers, and the wider deal team collaborate inside the deal room, and the same conversation streams to a deal-specific Slack channel. A finance question on Slack lands in the deal room. A manager note in the deal room shows up on Slack. One thread, two surfaces, no copy-paste. When the rep is ready to share the quote, one click on Notify Buyer sends an email to the buyer with a link to their personalized deal room. The buyer clicks the link. They land in the deal room scoped to their email. They see the quotes side by side, product names, prices, discounts, totals, and the rep curated pros and cons for each option. They review the quote, see every product, and download a branded PDF if they want it offline. It's that simple. The buyer can also open the action plan to mark off their own tasks and post a question in the chat that lands directly with the rep. No back and forth email threads, everything in one room. When they're ready, they click Proceed to Signature. NovaPact is integrated with DocuSign. The customer receives a DocuSign email, reviews the agreement, and signs. Once signed, it's reflected back in the buyer's portal. They can download the signed agreement directly from the deal room. And in Salesforce, the quote status updates to Accepted, and the signed PDF is automatically attached to the quote record under Files. Everything you saw, the quote build, the pricing recalculation, the approvals, the signed agreement attached to the quote record, runs through Revenue Cloud's standard API. NovaPact is the UI on top. Salesforce stays the system of record. The result: simpler for reps, better for buyers, fully governed by your existing Salesforce setup.